This week on Grow Up, Level Up, Sunset Selects, we're going to be answering the question, is Mixtape a Game of the Year contender? We're talking all about that and more on today's episode of Grow Up, Level Up, Sunset Selects. Play the intro. Welcome, one and all, to Grow Up, Level Up, Sunset Selects, the weekly podcast where we like to talk about the games that helped us grow up and all that, as well as let you know what games we should be playing in your 5 to 9 after your 9 to 5. Sometimes you can join us live on twitch.tv/Grow Up Level Up, just like Blaster Goblin did in the chat saying, it still says pre-show. And it did. And you know what? It doesn't anymore. So that's my bad. But yes, my name is Samson XP, aka Samson, my real name. And I'll be your host today. And joined to me is the co-host himself, the ever cool, cozy, very suave today, Sir Dr. JM, aka Jordan.
Hello. What's going on? Or should I say, actually, no, I don't want to say that. Spoilers for Mixtape.
Whoa.
I was going to do something, but I won't. So.
Oh, okay. Mysterious. Yes. Today we are talking about the new Beethoven and Dinosaur video game Mixtape, which released on May 7th, 2026 for the nice price of $20. It is let me see if I can pull up a description here. Mixtape is, as described on Steam, on their last night together, three friends embark on one final adventure. Play through a mixtape of memories set to the soundtrack of a generation. Wikipedia also describes it as Mixtape is an adventure game developed by Beethoven and Dinosaur, published by Annapurna Interactive, and it is a coming-of-age story starring Stacey Rockford, Van Slater, and Cassandra Marino, three best friends in the fictional Northern California town of Blue Moon Lagoon in the 1990s. Now, Metacritic score for this game, quite high, I must say. So we can pull this up, unless you got it on hand there, Jordan.
I do not. I believe it dropped in recent days, but at first, it was wildly impressive.
Yeah. It is right now sitting at an 85 on Metacritic. Generally favorable. 85 is still pretty high.
It's still very high. It's come down, though. The first little while, I'm pretty sure it was sitting at like 95 plus. And then it got I think someone said there was like 174. That brought it down to an 89. And then I think after that, slowly more reviews started rolling in. And, people got their opinions. So
very good. And yes, that is what this episode is all about. Our opinions on Mixtape. I beat it. Jordan beat it over the weekend. It is not very long. It is about 3 hours long. So it was easy to finish it in one night. I finished it on Saturday night. Jordan, what about you? When did you play Mixtape?
I finished it last night, actually, Monday night. So I started it. I think I spent a few hours with it on Friday evening, and then I finished it off Monday evening. So I did do it in 2 sittings.
Very nice. And yeah, it's one of the rare games I finished. I don't finish games, you know that about me. But this one I could bang out. It's only 3 hours, and I did it in one sitting. I just treated it as a very long movie, which we'll come back to. Part of my thoughts. If you are watching live, you can join us in the chat here. Like Blaster Goblin is saying, I'm very excited to play it when I have 3 hours of free time, which could be never. I pray for you, Blaster Goblin. Maybe if we maybe if you play it over some Burger King, that might work. That's a pre-show thing. Make sure you go to twitch.tv/growuplevelup to catch us in the pre-show. But before we dive into our thoughts, our feelings, our rosebud thorns of Mixtape, I just want to remind you that if you like listening to Grow Up Level Up, you can find us on all social medias, not just Twitch. but also on YouTube, where you can catch this replay. You can find us on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the good stuff there. And you can also find merch for Grow Up Level Up at growuplevelup.com. Pick up a hoodie, pick up a cool shirt like the one I'm wearing right now. It is very comfy, very breezy on this warm May night up here in Vancouver. So support us that way. A like, a follow, whatever you feel comfortable doing. That would mean a lot. So, like I said, we're going to go through our thoughts and feelings about Mixtape. We are going to start with spoiler-free thoughts, overhead thoughts, but the majority of the episode is going to be a spoiler-filled chat about it. So if you want to avoid spoilers, Jordan and I are going to talk freely about it. If you want to avoid spoilers, feel free to bounce out and come back later at a later date when you do get a chance to play through Mixtape. But if you are unsure when the spoilers start, I will make sure to put a little text on the screen there to let you know that spoilers have begun for Mixtape. But first, for the first 5-10 minutes of this podcast, we are going to, or the next 5-10 minutes of the podcast, we're going to talk about our overall thoughts on Mixtape, as well as give our score. I like scores. They help.
Mm-hmm.
They help us understand things. We were just talking about it with Metacritic. Jordan, I'm going to start with you because I've been yapping for a while.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Mixtape, and what score would you give it?
Well, I had an interesting time with Mixtape to begin with.
Okay, tell me about it.
First things first, you mentioned the price at the top of the show. Of course, the price that you referred to would be the price on Steam, Switch 2, PlayStation, and Xbox, should you want to buy it individually. But if you are a subscriber to Game Pass, it was free. I did subscribe to Game Pass, as we know, for the first time last month. So I'm coming up on month 2 of having Game Pass. But already, I mean, it's paid for itself. Like, I've been considering things like Sea of Thieves, and I got that. I'm going to be diving into Forza, and that comes out on the 20th or 22nd. And then Mixtape, was just kind of a bonus that I didn't have on my radar really until the reviews started rolling in, and people were saying things like it was going to be Game of the Year contender. So, yeah, I was pretty excited to see that it was free for me. I mean, for all intents and purposes. So I picked it up, and largely off of the hype, I think my expectations were possibly a little too high. As we know, everyone and their mom was singing the praises of Mixtape and talking about how amazing it was. So, I had some high expectations. My first night playing through it, I was enjoying myself, but I wouldn't say I loved it yet. I could see the charm, but I was still feeling a little let down. Overall, I enjoyed the characters. I really loved the art style, sort of the juxtaposition between the characters and the sort of interactive pieces versus the environments, especially some of the scenes where, without going into spoilers, you're walking through the woods or a forested area, and the scenery looks really nice compared against yourself or your characters. Shout out to Cam in the chat because yes, I'm gonna. You know what we're gonna do? Oh, I already have a pinned message. I was gonna pin the message that says Jordan hates Mixtape.
We gotta sell the merch. It's more important.
That's right. But anyways, my first night with the game, I think my brain was sort of in the wrong headspace. I was looking for the music to really carry the experience, and as we get into it, we'll dissect how that looks a little bit, how I felt that came across. But I did get roughly to the sort of middle of the game on my first night. I finished a section called Floating on Sadness, which if you've played, you'll know which part I'm talking about. And that's where I called it quits. And it was mostly just because I was tired and wanted to go to bed. Little did I know, the best was yet to come. And that's where I'll leave it for now.
And what score would you give Mixtape overall?
My score that I did wind up settling on for Mixtape will come into play when I talk about my rose, of course, we're going to do some rosebud thorns here, as you mentioned at the top of the show. And my rose is the reason I can't give it anything other than a 10.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. I can't wait to hear why. Can't wait, honestly. Let's see. My overall thoughts on Mixtape. Yeah. I'm just trying to be as spoiler free as possible because I would also rate it very, very high based on like the events in the game and all that happens. I think I'm gonna be just a tad lower than I'm gonna
Okay.
give it a 9 out of 10. And I know that's like, okay, where did it lose points kind of things. But I want to start with the positives, right?
Mhm,
Like
mhm,
what a beautiful piece of art this thing is. Like just not even aesthetically,
mhm.
but the story, the message, the characters, the world that it builds out is so like it's so fully realized. And it's like, sure, it's easy to say that. It's based off of real life. These are things that more or less could happen to real people to an extent. Um, but the way they go about it is like so it's just so like nostalgic, more or less, for me at least. I'm like, oh, I have been in these woods, I have had these friends, I know a person like Stacy Rockford. um
Mm, okay.
I know I've seen these kids around school, and and I'll come back to it later, but I really like the character of Cassandra as well for reasons that I'm sure we'll discuss.
Mhm,
um
mhm.
However, despite loving so much of it, man, I just wanted a little more.
Okay.
Like I wanted, and I don't know where I want to yoink points off or whatever, but I really wished that the gameplay was a little more involved. Um, and of course, we can go like even a degree further. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I'll come back around. I want the gameplay to be a little more involved. And I kind of, although it's called Mixtape and it's like this is the vision of what it is and it takes place in an era of time, I wish there were some more songs that I kind of knew.
Okay. Okay.
I think this setting was just one generation or like even 5 years just removed from me. So but which kind of works to my favor as well, because now I'm discovering like music that I do kind of like, or that I could look into. Like there, well, I don't know if I want to name any specific artists, but like I'll just pick one. The Smashing Pumpkins, right? Like I grew up listening to this band, and then like when they showed up in the game, I'm like, hell yeah, I can't believe they got somebody I knew at least. And there's another song in there that was a touch point. Um, so that is kind of why I would dock points off, but in the end, like I feel like it's such a nitpick, um, that it's like, yeah, I don't know. Do I want to give this a 10 or do I want to stick with my 9?
I can yeah, I mean, your score is your score. It's your opinion. Who really gives a rat's ass? But
Mm-hmm.
for me, the big deciding factor, and I will avoid spoilers in saying this because there are some big spoilers that I will want to go into later. But um, the big reason why I settled on a 10, even though I wouldn't say this game is, one of my favorite games or anything like that, even though I don't know if I ever see myself going back to this game, big reason why I settled on a 10 is because of the emotions that it was able to pull out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it accomplishes all of that very expertly.
Mm-hmm.
And I did debate, do I go lower because of, again, certain things that I'll talk about, much of what you a little bit of what you kind of got at already. But I had to, in the end, kind of look at the picture as a whole and just say, I can't dock it for missing these things when I had such a strong reaction to certain parts of
Mm-hmm.
the game. So that's why I settled
That's
on a 10.
Yeah, and that's totally like I completely echo with that as well, because like um actually I'll save it for the Thorn. I know what my Thorn is going to be. Before we go into full spoilers, I got a shout out in the chat. Cameron, the French tip design, says I can understand wanting more. Samson, me, that checks out. I know. I just want a little more. He also says, fun fact, I didn't know any song used in this game. Oh wow. And that weirdly made me love it more. And I genuinely do also feel a like almost like a, I don't know what the word is, but if that's the case, then it also like stands on its own. I'm like, yes, this song, now I relate this song to Mixtape. I'm not also, because it's a song I don't know before, like I'm not thinking about, it's like, oh, this song was in Mixtape, but it was also in like this this sport event and the Canucks scored a goal or something, like You Will Forever, which is spoilers, well, I won't get into it, part of the message
don't
of the
spoil.
game, right?
But yeah, I get where you're getting.
One of the themes. Well, so a 9 out of 10 for me, a 10 out of 10 for Jordan. It's a 9 out of 10 that I like a 10 out of 10. You know, I'm easily swayed as well. Who knows? Stay till the end of the episode to see if my opinion changed.
I don't think you need to qualify a 9 out of 10 by saying it's a 9 out of 10 I love like a 10 out of 10. Saying a 7 out of 10 that I love like a 10 out of 10, that makes sense. Because that's like, look, I know it's good, not great, but I love it like it's great. But like, that's like saying it's great, not really great, but I love it like it's really great. So anyways.
Yeah. So we'll come back to yes. I'm sure we'll dissect it. We'll definitely dissect it.
Let's dissect
it. Let's go full spoilers into Mixtape. So if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to a podcast, feel free to come back later. Put this on your queue, and when you beat Mixtape, it's only 3 hours long. Treat it like a long movie, like that you're gonna like kick on the couch, get a beer, like just play through it in one go, and then come back and we'll go full, and you can listen to our full spoiler thoughts. And if you are here, well, welcome. Keep listening. We are going to go full spoilers into Mixtape. Of course, we at Grow Up Level Up like to do it Bud, Thorn, Rose, Bud, and Thorn style. Anyway,
good try. Nice try.
Rose.
By Blaster Goblin, I figured you would drop when we got into spoilers. So
thank you for coming by, Blaster Goblin. So if you are, we'll be doing a Rose, Bud, and Thorn. So a Rose being something that we really liked about Mixtape, a Thorn being something that we didn't like, and a Bud being something that we wished Mixtape had.
Or could do better.
Of course. Or could do better. Yeah. Would you like to start, Jordan? Do you have one that you're hankering to talk about?
I will gladly start. I do like starting with the Rose because it's a beautiful way to start off this conversation, especially with this game. So yeah, if you don't mind, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Okay. So again, this all ties into a lot of what you hinted at and what I hinted at already. And really ties into why I wound up settling on a 10 for this game. The big rose, the biggest rose that I see in this game is the vision that they had when creating this. They knew what they wanted to make, and they made it. It feels uncompromising in how it delivers itself to the player, in how it tells the story, in how it conveys emotion through all of the events that happen, both big and small. And that's really why I just, when it came down to it, they, like I say, it comes down to their vision. They had a vision, they executed it, and I think to a degree where they knew there are certain choices that aren't going to satisfy everyone or aren't going to make people jump out of their seats. I think, and this actually ties into my Thorn as well, but I'm not going to reveal it just yet. I think that there are maybe some pretty straightforward decisions they could have made in this game that would have elevated the experience for just about everyone who played it. And I think they purposely didn't do that because, again, it comes down to the vision, and they stuck to their guns. And coming out of the gate, again, with most of the, I'll say, mainstream critical review, it showed. I think there's a certain je ne sais quoi, a certain panache that I'll call it professional. This is not meant to be derogatory, but there's a certain aspect that the professional review scene has where I think they're going to approach a game like this a little differently than a more casual and a more amateur review scene. And I put us in that amateur review bucket as well, right? And I do think that is why we see the review score coming down as dramatically as it has from those first weeks. Because in those first weeks, it was larger press outlets and people who are known, right, getting the review copies and putting out those 10 out of 10s. As you get into a more casual audience, more of an audience like us who doesn't have the game pre-release and things like that, they score it and it comes down because, again, the vision was so clear. And I think that sort of professional level of review can identify that. And I think a lot of the amateur side doesn't necessarily see that as clearly. And that's, that's a big part of why, to me, I think we're seeing the score come down. Anyways, I'm getting off track here. The point is, my rose is the vision they had with this game, and how well they executed on it completely.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, I was gonna use the term Oscar bait, but I don't know if your analogy there
very true
fit exactly what Oscar bait is, but yeah, I can kind of see that there is a different critical eye.
Yeah,
when a reviewer, a professional reviewer, quote unquote, looks at it versus like me who told my buddy Aaron to play this game, and he's like, sure, yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
So the vision of the game is your rose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mine is kind of similar. My rose would be the themes and the message of the game. I think the vision I think also is kind of part of that, like just the way everything comes together.
Yeah.
And tells about the themes of growing up, music relating to a place in time when things don't go your way, relationships, both expected and unexpected, and all that I think is very much fully realized in a story like Mixtape. And I think it also ends in a place where it's also very realistic. It's not the end of the world. It's not like,
do I sacrifice my girlfriend for the sake of the city, or do I let her live and forsaken the city? Yeah,
exactly. It's nothing like that. It's very much like if I thought hard enough, I probably had a similar experience like this, where it's just like, okay, we're all 18, 19. You're moving that way, I'm moving this way, or like we're in post-secondary and we have these different visions for where we want to go, and it's just a mutual understanding. And I think that is played out very well in the game, both for like our characters in the game and also as the player, just seeing that journey through, and having those touchstones. I think like with the message, with the setting, it is a very like North American experience, I think.
Yeah, I've heard that criticism as well.
Yeah, to like be like, all right, it's gonna be hard for somebody like that grew up in Asia, like my cousin or something, to relate to sneaking out at night and stealing booze and like
drinking,
moving across the country,
drinking
and partying. Oh man, house parties. It's gonna be hard for some folks to relate, but at the same time, like movies have done this, right? Like not everyone's gonna relate to Superbad. Like I definitely didn't relate to Superbad.
Oh my god,
I was, but I still had a good time and found meaning through like whatever my interpretation of it. So I think like overall the themes, and I think in my perspective, the themes of like music relating to a time and place, of growing up and losing relationships, or even just relationships changing, expectations of relationships changing, like the character of Jenny fucking Goodspeed ending up being like one of the cool ones and being a friend of a friend. Like I think that is something that a lot of people can relate to. And of course the let go at the very end, of course the tearjerker. I think that is a universal experience, and I think those two messages are what my roses are. I think the game had those in mind when telling its story and making this piece of art, and it did it really, really well.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring up the experience thing, because I do wonder. No, let me rephrase that. I think I agree with you about, someone growing up in another country that we're not familiar with. Would they relate to the overall story of this game and the sort of arc? And the interesting thing for me is I think that comes back to my expectation for the game when I was saying I was a little let down in the beginning. And that's because I thought this was, and they set it up this way, so duh. I thought this was a story about, this group of friends trying to get to a party, trying to get their booze and that kind of thing. And once I sat with it, and then when I came back to the game, I think the big thing that I realized and what kind of made me shift my perspective and, helped me enjoy the game a lot more is that for me, it wasn't about the party. And I think this is kind of what the game tries to get across. It wasn't about the party. It wasn't about the booze. It wasn't about the, you know, getting drunk and high with your friends and running from the cops and everything.
Get into zany situations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, I don't have nostalgia for any of that, right? I didn't grow up, fuck the police and fuck my parents and teenage angst. Like, I grew up with a white picket fence and, a nuclear family, and I had a border collie instead of a golden retriever, right? But like what the game captures so well is those smaller moments. And that's where I really found I started to fall in love with it. It gives you a glimpse into something that these characters, or the things these characters do, that isn't drinking and smoking. It's the ordinary, it's the mundane, it's the average. And I do wonder, can other cultures and places identify with that aspect of it? Are to a degree, are kids everywhere, right? Like, do we all have, everyone knows music, even in another language. Does everyone have that experience of you're hanging out with your friends and you're headbanging in the car, or, just listening and rocking out, or getting, I don't know, skipping rocks on a lake? Like, I'm sure everyone in the world has skipped a rock on the lake. Like, there were just these smaller things. And that's what really, once I kind of let that sink in, getting slushies with your friends, something as simple as crossing a field, and they make that into an experience and a moment with your friends, where growing up, you don't know that, that's a moment, right? But now, like, I have a very distinct memories of one summer with me and my friends walking across the local school field, and like, we would just hang out there, climb on the soccer posts, and, do chin-ups on them because we're testosterone ridden teens. But like that, and that's what this is about. That's what it comes down to. And I don't know if they got that across in all the marketing as well. But I don't know that they needed to, right? I think that you come in for the party, and then if you're open to it, you see that it's so much more.
Yeah, I think that's part of the beauty,
Mm-hmm.
that part of that vision that you were saying that they got through. And yeah, like as you were describing it, I was kind of wondering, like, will people appreciate that? Like, first of all, will they relate to that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, will someone from another culture have that experience of walking through the soccer field? Like I've had, like, leaving school and go to get pizza, and then just like stressing out if we have enough money. Like, will people have that experience? And then the second part I want to add is, like, will they appreciate it? Will they appreciate those small moments that the game has made into big story beats? I'm gonna transition us into the Thorn here.
Oh, we're going
And from
Thorn.
that,
Okay.
and I'll start because that, like, as you were talking, I'm kind of dulling my Thorn a bit, okay? Because my Thorn was the pacing. As you were saying, like I do like those small moments with the slushy machine, walking across the field, skipping rocks. But yeah, I really like the skipping rocks part as well.
I think every gamer that played this game was like, hell yeah, I get to
like,
snipe some things at a long distance.
I see something I have to knock over.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
need to knock it over.
Exactly. Colorful rocks.
I thought the beginning of the game was just like weirdly slow compared to the rest of the game.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if that was, now that we're talking about it, intentional. Like, the beginning of the game is literally you have to kill time for because if you leave now, it's a little too early to get to the party or to get booze and all that.
And it doesn't
you have to kill time.
Plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't fit the plan, doesn't fit the soundtrack. So it's like, okay, well, in this time, you would go to room to explore, to world build, more or less. You learn about the characters, their relationships, family, all that kind of stuff, which I thought was cool. I didn't mind it, but I was just like, okay, that's fine. This game is going to be like more of a meditative walking sim. But then the rest of the game isn't exactly like balls to the wall fast either, but the pacing is a little more consistent. So I kind of worry, like my wife was watching me play the beginning of this game, and for someone just watching, she was bored. Right. Like I'm playing, I'm like going to this, going to that, and she'll help once in a while. It's like, oh, you missed whatever, this picture over here. I was like, oh, thank you. But like she was pretty bored because wasn't much happening. And it was like about an hour in, right after that moment, she's like, well, I'm going to bed. They're like, that's fine. I'm going to stay up and finish this. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she didn't finish.
She didn't finish it. I think I will make it because it's so short as well. I think I will make her come around to it. But yeah, after that, it was like, after that, then it picked up and I was like, okay, now the story's like actually going somewhere. They're going to different places. But I thought the beginning was a little slow, and I worry that it will turn off some people.
Yeah. No, and that's totally similar to my experience, right? Like I said, I played that first night. I think I put 2 hours in to get to the point where why can't I think of the main character's name? Rockford?
Stacy Rockford.
Stacy. To get to the point where she sees Cassandra hanging out with Jenny fucking Goodwin. And then she has that moment where she fades, she drifts into the background and it goes black and white and you hit the 3 pigs in there and everything. I ended after that. That's where I called my first night. I was like, this seems like a good place to end it. And I did go to bed that night, like I said at the top of the show, thinking it's good. It's fun. It's not great. Like thinking this is maybe going to be a 7 for me. And then I came back, and that's why it took me until Monday night to get back to it. Literally the day before we're recording.
You didn't feel
I was like, I have to finish this now.
We said we were going to do it.
Exactly. It's not that I didn't want to, because I knew I probably had maybe an hour left. I think I took about an hour and 45. Like I was definitely closer to 4 hours total playtime, but yeah, I ended just past the halfway point for myself, and that's the thing. Cam says in the chat, or sorry, the French Dip Design says in the chat, such a somber moment to end on for night one.
Yeah.
And it was. But I liked what they did with that. That was probably one of the first moments in the game where I was like, okay, this is different than what we've seen so far. We've seen little snippets. We've seen skateboarding. We've seen, shopping carting down the hill and all this kind of stuff. But that was a bit of a shift. And I was like, we're going somewhere now. But also I was tired. So I was like, this seems like a good place to call it. So
yeah. But I mean, like overall, other than that beginning section, I feel like the game is pretty well paced. I don't know if they would, if you need to tighten it up. I just worry, like I said, like it will turn some people off right before you get to the meat, right before you get to the good part. So yeah, but different strokes for different folks. Maybe some people out there won't mind the slower pace. They will find it interesting learning about the characters. Like I genuinely did. I was just like, for somebody, maybe it was somebody watching over my shoulder, it's not very engaging for them. After that, like opening scene of you bombing down the hill with your friends on the skateboards, sick. Friendship Design says in the chat, that moment talking about Jordan, the
floating through the piggies.
The sad part, floating through the gates.
It was called Floating on Sadness was the chapter name.
Floating on Sadness.
Chapter 16.
Friendship Design says, it wrecked me and locked me in for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hear you.
I think, speaking on that part, like, I think I also been like, oh, yeah. I've had friends that were like, it's like, oh, I'm busy today. I don't want to.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we?
And you catch them at the mall with somebody else.
I mean, my recollection of this was more so me in the Cassandra situation, which makes me feel like a bad person, but being like, sorry, person, I don't feel like hanging out. Well, our other friend is literally on the couch next to me. Like I have distinct memories of that. And it's not necessarily nice of me, but like sometimes, and I hold true to this, like everyone doesn't always have to be included either. Sometimes you do want to have one-on-one time with certain friends. And I'm sure in that moment, that's what Cassandra wanted. Sucks that she got caught red-handed. She probably should have just been honest with Stacy from the beginning and said, hey, I'm going to hang out with my new friend, or, even if she didn't want to tell her who. But anyways, but that's the point. That's what this game is about. It's about those moments that we can all identify with, regardless of were you a metalhead, were you a stoner, were you a popular kid? Everyone's been there.
Shout out to L Gator in the chat. I'm not into Mixtape, so yeah, Oh no, it's short, Lucas. Go give it a try. But
Okay.
I totally can see it not being your style of game, but I know, give it a try. But anyways, we're full spoilers, so don't worry. If you're here for the vibes, thank you so much. Jordan, that was my Thorn. What was your Thorn with Mixtape?
My Thorn is not much of a thorn, but you're gonna have to stick with me because I don't want to get torn to shreds on this. So don't get me wrong, I love the music in the game and the soundtrack. Like you said, and like we talked about a lot, it was very curated for the story that they're telling. And I would guess very personal to very likely, the studio head director, the creator of this. Yes, exactly. Johnny Galvatron, who is a musician himself.
Is he? Dang.
He is, yeah. I forget what band he played in, but he played in another band before he made this. I don't know if he still plays with them. Anyways, doesn't matter. Coming back to the vision that I talked about as my rose, they knew what they wanted, and that includes the music. It's not a greatest hits album of the 80s or the 90s or, the 70s, the 60s. It's not a greatest hits album. It just isn't. And I think a lot of people think that's what it's going to be. I think a lot of people are expecting to recognize music in this game. And similar to Cam, similar to the French Dip Design in chat, I don't think I knew a single song in this game. I recognize some of the bands. Obviously, you mentioned earlier, Smashing Pumpkins comes up. I know of them. The song that played, I was like, maybe I recognize this, but maybe not. There's one song that they talk about that like basically kickstarted the sort of punk genre of rock music. That's towards the end of the game. They talk about that. And certainly hearing it, I'm like, yeah, I get it. You can see tones of the Clash and other the Ramones and things like that coming out of that, but I definitely didn't know the song, and that's what they wanted. I don't think they wanted it to be, man, remember this moment because of this song and everything. They want you to connect with the music and the moments, but it doesn't necessarily have to be because of the song. Now, my Thorn, I would have loved just one immigrant song from Thor Ragnarok moment,
Yeah.
Just hit me with one moment where, I don't know, maybe after Cassandra's dad almost catches her drinking at the Heaven 11. And then there's that one cut where the three of them are just taken off down the alley, and Cassandra's dad, the police officer, sees them running. I would have loved in that moment just to be hit with like, I fought the law and the law won, or something like that. Just hit me with a real punk anthem right in that moment. All you got to play for me is 2 lines of that song. You don't have to play the whole thing, which the rest of the game did almost entirely. But it's just like, that would have gotten me personally so hyped. And I'm sure a lot of people, or this is another idea I had. I could have swore I heard that Weezer was in this game, and that did not happen. I would have loved for that party at the end of the game, when they get to the party at the Ritz.
Yeah.
I would have loved to hear like Buddy Holly playing when you walk into that party or something.
Yeah.
Like that just would have been so cool and would have taken it to probably another level. And I'm already, this is a game that I've already said I'm giving a 10. Like, I love this game. But just that single connection, I think, could have gone a long way. And again, that's not the point. That's not the vision. I get it. But I think for a lot of people, that would have just hit. That would have landed. So that's my Thorn. I would have liked to have just one moment of something that everyone's going to know, and I say everyone, but obviously I'm talking largely a North American audience, but still.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's totally pros and cons. Like, the pros is like, now this soundtrack can stand on its own. I'm like, I would love to buy this soundtrack on a CD or on vinyl and just have it immortalized as the mixtape.
Yeah.
Or should it be a cassette? Should I be buying this on cassette? Like the mixtape soundtrack. And I can come back to it. But also pros would be like, give us that like hype moment.
Yeah.
There was the one
hype moment. That's exactly it.
There was the one. It's the song called Oh my gosh, The Touch by Stan Bush. I'm surprised you don't know this one. This was from the Transformers movie in the 1986 or something. The 1980s Transformers movie, but it's the one that goes like, "You got the touch," and it's like they got the 80s synths.
Okay, I probably did know that, but like that kind of goes to my point. It didn't stand out to me. I have no, and hot take, but like, I mean, I was born in 92. I have no connection with the 86 Transformers movie. I'm sure I saw it as a kid. I definitely watched the Transformers TV show growing up. I watched Beast Wars. And I was a big fan of the Michael Bay relaunch of Transformers as well when that first happened.
Underrated.
Absolutely. It's honestly a great movie. Anyways, I had no touch point to that movie. And I'm sure a lot of people did. I'm sure that, like you say, that probably did mean a lot to a lot of people. But give me something a little more modern, you know? I was really psyched for Weezer and it didn't happen. So I was a little gutted when it didn't happen. But anyway.
Yeah, if I knew that going in and it didn't happen, I would have been like, dang it.
A Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba, French dip design in chat. That would have ruled. And
I don't know what that is.
You don't. Oh, you know it if you heard it. I'm not going to try and sing it, but yeah, look it up. You'll definitely know it 100%.
Sure.
That song, like, and that's the thing. Someone in chat can say something like that, and immediately I have a moment in the game that I think of that I'm like, I know where this would have been perfect. And I'll tell you, since we're talking spoilers, French dip design in chat who mentioned Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. I have the CD of that. I probably stole it from my dad. He probably bought it when I was a young child, but I remember listening to that on my CD player in my bedroom when I was a very young boy. Anyways, that song would be perfect when that one guy jumps off the roof of the cabin and into the little the little kiddie pool that he somehow lived. I thought we were in for a scene where he goes to the hospital, but he just leaps in there and he's good to go. So anyways, that song would have hit in that moment, right? But
yeah. There's so many, like it also makes me feel like this story almost could work in a different generation. I don't know. Like you can do one in the early 2000s, you can do one in the 2010s, and this kind of brings me to jumping ahead here. But like right after this game finished, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go on YouTube and look up some movie trailers of some films that remind me of this. So I looked up the trailers for like Superbad, Project X, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, Juno, Scott Pilgrim, and be like, yeah, like one, these are all movies that are kind of carried by their soundtracks, but two, these are all like coming of age stories about relationships and parties, more or less. So I thought that was like, okay, this genre, this like coming of age party genre could be a thing. And yeah, the music you slot in, definitely very there's lots of opportunity there. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Shout out to the chatters here. We got Batgirl. Guys, don't be mad. I thought I was legit following. Well, Batgirl, we are not mad.
It's never too late.
Welcome to the Grow Up Level Up gang, the Gulu gang. And like I said at the top of the show, if you want to support us, growuplevelup.com, pick up a hoodie. I figure we're halfway through the episode. I might as well plug it again. growuplevel.com if you would like to support us, as well as if you don't have any bucks, make sure you follow us on everywhere you can: YouTube, Twitch, podcasts, Spotify, all of that fun stuff. Now, I want to bring in the French Dips comment here. He says, it was the precipice of music being a physical, attainable thing before everything started to pivot to MP3 players and streaming services. That is true, actually. Yeah, like one thing they did here, they used a lot, was CDs and cassette tapes. So this would have placed us in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think. Right? Did they have CDs in the 80s?
There's enough cassette music in this game that I'm thinking it's, if we had to assign a time frame, it's before 2000. I don't think that many people, well, maybe early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000s, I think.
Because like the first iPod came out in what, 2003, I think?
Yeah.
So like 2003, 2005 is probably like when that was really adopted. So yeah, first half of the 2000s kind of thing, the 10s.
French Dip says 1995 is what I tell myself. Yeah, that around then. Right. Yeah, that's true. There would have been an iPod if it was in that early 2000s range. Yeah.
Before
Yeah,
you
go
go any
ahead.
further, I do want to just
Mhm.
shout out Batgirl. I'm pretty sure you already beat the game, but just so you're aware, we are full spoilers right now. So I don't think we've said anything spoilery since you've been here, but just in case.
Mhm, mhm. Um, so that was kind of our thorns, which is like I feel like very soft thorns. I'm
Thorn
like,
lights.
okay, thorn lights,
You know
yeah.
what?
Uh,
Unless I don't like a game, my thorns are always going to be thorn lights because I will do what I can to try and find a way to spin it positively. Anyways,
yeah, glass half full, glass half full.
exactly.
Well, we're going into our third part of the rose here, the bud. The bud being something that we wanted for the game, something that we think the game could expand on, or something that maybe they can do in a sequel, or just something that we thought was missing that would have elevated it beyond a 9 or 10 out of 10. I don't know, but gotta hit that 11 out of 10. Jordan, do you want to go first, or should I go first?
I can go first. Mine will be relatively quick, and does serve as a good talking point for something we haven't talked about yet.
Sure, sure,
Um,
sure.
my bud is actually the different play styles that we got to see in the game. So obviously, if you played the game, you know everything about it. Uh, Primarily, the method of control is that sort of walking sim. Your third person Walking Dead style, picking up things in the environment. Um, but what I thought was really fun and really cool was when they did mix it up. And one moment you're skateboarding, the next moment it turns into this sort of side-scrolling runner. I thought that
Hmm.
was really cool when very very Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And maybe that's why I like that
Oh
part so much.
yeah, okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but again side scroller, run, jump, slide. Like that's all the controls. Next thing you're flying through a field. So lots of little snippets of that sort of change up in control, which obviously ties into what's going on in the story and elevate some of those small moments into, hey, again, I come back to the walking through a field. We all remember walking through a field with a couple of our friends and goofing off, and you shove one of your friends to the ground, or you grab their whatever, grab their phone in their hand, and you take off running so they'll chase you, and just goofing around and things like that. And in this game, you walk through that field and you start flying because you don't know it at the time, but that's the closest it's going to feel, right?
Mhm, mhm.
You will never feel that again once you are an adult. You don't walk through fields with friends enough anymore.
You
So,
gotta
anyways,
plan that 3 months ahead, 6
exactly,
months ahead.
exactly. Make sure the kid's taken care of. You got a babysitter. You don't have work the next day because you don't want to be too tired. Anyways, my bud was really the different play styles. I loved seeing them. I loved every one that you came across. Even when you repeated something like skateboarding a second or third time, even, they found new ways to mix it up. And I just would have loved to see them do that even more. Obviously, at that point, it's probably a longer game so that there is room for more of them.
Mhm.
Um, but it was fun. It was fun to just change it up and take it away from, hey, this kind of slow, plodding place. Even the one that also really stuck out was the kaiju mode. When you're in the
Oh,
dinosaur
yeah.
park and
Oh, yeah, the
you just hold
dinosaur.
down the button and the bass cuts in with that whatever song was playing at that moment, and you start stomping and the camera comes down low and you stomp through the sort of volcanic area. I thought those were really cool, and so yeah, that's my butt. Just something I would have loved to see more of, but again, at that point, it's a longer game. There's probably more room for it. So
It's true, it's true. I mean, mine's kinda same, but kinda different. Definitely, I want to see more, and this is one of the overall critiques of the wider criticism of Mixtape is it's pretty much just an interactive movie, isn't it? Like you're playing through these scenes, you are in control, but really there's no fail state, there's no different endings. You are just experiencing this story and doing little mini games along the way. Some of them are very like the slushy one, going through the fields, the rock skipping one, of course. Um, so I think like mine would be, I wish there was more, and this is like one of my favorite genres is those narrative based branching games. I wish there was more of that.
mm,
Like, what if, and I know this would then be a completely different game, completely different vision. Um, what if there were multiple endings, right? What if you didn't make it to Cassandra in time and she gets caught by her dad?
ooh,
What
game
if
over.
you didn't find the clue to the booze at the Ritz? What if like you like defy Cassandra's dad a little earlier, kind of thing? Like I feel like that would make it a little more of your experience if you like you as Stacey Rockford, whereas this one would, the game as it's now, it's an interactive movie, which I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's a very strong interactive movie, and I obviously very much like it as well and would recommend it to anyone. Even like non-gamer friends. Like I think the strength is that like I have a group of friends who are like all women. Not saying women don't play video games, but this group doesn't. And they
I love that you say that every time.
Well, because it's true.
You're like, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I just have women friends who don't game.
They're like all women. I have friends that are girls. But anyways, like this is a game that I would recommend them. I would never recommend them an Arc Raiders or a Apex or anything like that, or even Tomodachi Life. I don't even know if I recommend that. But like this is a game that they could be. I can say like, hey, this is, think of it as like a long TV show. You can play it 2 or 3 nights for an hour, and then just like take your time and enjoy the story. Like see if you get anything out of it. So I'd be curious about their response to it, their kind of review for it. And it is a very approachable video game that way. Cam in the chat says a literal video game. Now, like quote unquote video, quote unquote game. I was literally thinking of titling this episode Mixtape Game of the Year. Getting ahead of ourselves. So I think that like my bud is, man, I just yearn for a little more. Like give me that alternate ending if you didn't find certain things. Give me that like one cool thing I remember, I don't know if you know the game Clannad, Clannnad. It was an anime from 20 years ago now, I guess. That was the first anime that
I think you've talked about the anime on the show before.
Yeah, this is the first anime that made me cry. But in the game counterpart, because it was based on like a visual novel, I think throughout the game there were certain like lampposts or something that you had to find, or certain things you had to find throughout the game. And then if you don't find them all, then you won't get the good ending. So it's kind of like I wish they had some of that in this game, like some more hidden stuff that would have given you different endings as well. But once again, that's a completely different game. The soundtrack might change and all that. It's a bigger scope as well. Like this is a very contained scope to its strength overall. But man, if they're going to do a Mixtape 2, like give me that alternate ending. Give me like unlocking certain scenes and songs that I had to do a certain thing to do early in the game to get to. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
So just give me more. Give me Mixtape 2. Yeah.
Butterfly Effect it.
Oh yeah. The Detroit Become Human. They all start singing at the end.
Yeah, we all watched that on Kind of Funny. I only played that game briefly, but I had watched a lot of spoiler stuff on it, so I knew how it went. But yeah,
I didn't get that ending. I didn't get the singing ending. I just think they revolutioned. And that
so
was
you were.
And went to Canada.
I was going to say, so you were racist against the robots then? You killed them all or something? But no,
not gonna lie.
Uh-oh.
This is a safe space, right?
Uh-oh.
This is a safe space, right?
No good statement starts with not gonna lie. Go ahead.
I think you said it first. The racist word. You said it first. I think I am a little robo-racist. Clankers.
I mean, look, when Detroit...
and sorry, I am a little robo-racist, and it's because of that game.
Yeah.
I'm like, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's true. AI. Clankers. No.
I was going to say, when Detroit Become Human came out, we were not in the same place with technology and specifically AI as we are now. Nowadays, I think we can all agree that, we certainly are not down with the clankers, but we're not afraid
Getting back on track.
Use those C slurs on air tonight.
Oh my gosh. Hey, it's not starred on the Twitch thing, on the auto mod. The auto mod, the robots don't even think it's a C word. So,
they don't know. They don't know what we call them behind their backs or in front of their faces.
But with Mixtape, I think this is, a very strong package overall.
Yeah.
I think like my bud is literally, I want more. And my Thorn is like, man, I wish it would just like be even more tighter than it is, but it's already. So it's a little this and that. I'm like, give me more, but also don't give me too much. Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it straight.
Yeah, I mean, mine was very similar, right? My bud was, hey, I like the different play styles. Can I have more? But again, my rose was the vision is so clear that you can't have more, right? So yeah, very similar. We're both obviously very positive on this game.
I love it. So overall, thoughts on Mixtape? Very, very positive. I do think I'm a 9 out of 10. I do knock a point off because I'm like, this is an interactive movie in a good way. And I wish if it gave me the alternate endings, if it gave me like, I don't know if I need a different soundtrack, but like, yeah, like now that you mentioned it, the get hype moment with a song that we all really know. I think that would help us, like that would bring me to a 10 just personally.
Now look, before you render your final verdict, I want to know, did you have any standout moments? And that can mean anything to you. For me, it's going to be the 2 moments that made me cry.
I'll go first. You can end on your crying moment.
Sounds good.
I think for myself, being somebody who is Asian, if you're an audio listener, I am Chinese. I'm a Chinese-born Canadian.
I had no idea.
I think, like, of course, I'm not speaking for all Chinese-born Canadians, Asian-born, Canadian-born Asians, Canadian-born Chinese, that one out there. I think my growing up experience was definitely closer to Cassandra Marino's, who was like a half Asian, like her dad, the cop, the sergeant was, some sort of Asian, Japanese probably. And my parents were the parents that told me not to hang out with so-and-so, not to go out with whatever, don't go drinking out at night. Like, they were watching me. Of course, I also wasn't as achieved as Cassandra as well. Right. Like, she's got so many trophies and was like set up for success. But I definitely had closer to like her experience, and then getting angry like her and being like, no, you can't tell me like I can't do this. I'm gonna go hang out with my friends. On top of that, I also had the experience where I did get caught. Like, at the end of the game, gets caught, and I just stood up for myself, and my parents just respected that and gave me the side eye. But like,
okay,
it's like, you're not supposed to be doing this, but also like, I as a parent, I know I'm not a parent, I as a parent need to respect that you're an individual kind of thing. I've also had that experience, so that got the first tear jerk out of me. I'm like, wow, I didn't know like I would relate to Cassandra this much.
Was
or
it
like a character like this much?
Was it a specific moment in the game? Like, was it when she stands up to her dad on the road with the burning shack next to her, or the fight in the bedroom or something like that?
No, it was the burning shack part, because I've seen in media, I've seen the like strict Asian parent,
of course,
stereotype, like that. I'm like, yep, like, and the smart Asian stereotype.
Should have been a lawyer. Should have been a doctor.
Yeah. So seeing the standing up part, like, of course, like, not 1-to-1. I was never
burning buildings,
underage drinking for sure. Standing next to burning houses. But I have gotten caught like doing stuff I wasn't supposed to do. And then that, like, I'm like, oh, okay. And then the parent, like, I think it really was the parent turning to the side and being like, okay, just go, like, I'll cover your ass, kind of thing. I think that was like, oh wow, they like pulled it off. I'm genuinely surprised about that. So
cool. I like that a lot. That's awesome.
See, another Cecler, Chinese Canadian. Oh, double C's.
When I said the Cecler, I was referring to Canadian. But
Canadian.
if you say I was referring to Chinese, then it actually becomes a little offensive. So I was talking about Canadians. Let's be clear. Any others you want to shout out, or?
Of course, I'm sure you're going to talk about it, but the ending, just the way the word fades, from when you're holding on to Slater's hands, and it goes like, don't let go, and then it fades into let go, and then you're like, oh, okay, I don't have a choice here. Like, this choice was made for me. This is where I'm supposed to go. Could be a little bit about like destiny and all that. But I thought that ended very strong as well, because then, like, after that, the game's over. You're like, this is where the story ends between these 3 friends.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just even you saying that got my eyes welling up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that ending was tough. That's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say about it right now.
Yeah, fair.
it,
Um,
it
yeah.
it wrecked me absolutely.
Mm.
And
Did it like relate to something in your life? Is that why,
oh
or
yes,
just
100%.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
tough times.
yeah.
Sorry,
Something in your throat.
something in my throat there. That was so strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and the funny thing is, oh, now I gotta like minimize the chat so I don't see people saying positive things as well. That'll just make it worse. Yeah, would you like to hear my other one that I might actually be able to get 5 words out about?
Can I close out on that little
Oh,
bit?
yeah, sorry. I
Because
didn't
I
mean
think
to.
we all know how you feel about it. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
only positive thing.
yeah. Go ahead.
I think with that as well, it's like, yeah, like the let go scene. I think everybody can relate to that in some way. Of course,
Yeah,
it's never
totally.
going to be exact. You're never going to travel across the country, but there's always been like the friend that you have to say goodbye to for a long time.
Mhm.
Maybe like forever is a strong word, but like everyone has that relationship. I think that is such a universal experience. And I think the game sells that so well.
Yeah.
There's just nothing you can do in this moment.
Mhm.
So
It was also really nice that it wasn't her and Cassandra that had that moment, which doesn't, obviously girl power, stuff like
mhm.
that. But it was nice to see a non, what's the word? A non platonic, no, a platonic relationship between two teenagers, a boy and a girl, and them not be madly in love or that not
Mhm.
be a factor when it all came down to it. They just knew each other from a young age, grew up together, and were best friends, right? And it was nice that they also sort of said goodbye to Cassandra, not long before that, but shortly before that. Um, and that had its own moment, right? Cassandra obviously came into the picture with their story
Mhm.
later down the road, significantly, right? Like it seemed like they had only really met her in high school. Um, but yeah, it was nice that Slater and why do I keep forgetting her
State
name?
Rockford, Stacy
Rockford,
Rockford.
Stacy.
Yeah.
It was nice that they had that moment between the two of them at the very end because it
Mhm.
also was a little bit like, yeah, Cassandra and her, they
They
might just go
beefed.
their separate years, separate
Yeah.
ways, and they might not come back together. But you feel a little bit more like these two are always going to have a place for each other, right?
Mhm.
Even if they, don't talk for years and years at a time, they'll always connect again at some point, right? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, that was good.
They did such a good job of it, just like which is what like all great movies and great books and all great media does, is they don't put it in your face. like
hmm
like
hmm
like you just saw their relationship. They briefly were like, oh yeah, we were friends since elementary school, and then it's like and then the way they talked to each other and the way they like teased and interacted with each other was just like, yeah, these people are like have been friends for a very very long time. So when it does go out, or when they do separate, it does hit a lot harder because that's very realistic. Yeah. Well, we made it. Oh, did you have one more thought for mixtape?
I did want to shout out one more moment, and this one I truly don't know um, why it struck me as much as it did, and that's why I think I'll be able to form a coherent sentence about it
Mm-hmm.
without getting choked up. It was painting the door. Um,
Mm.
when you go back there with Slater and you're reliving these memories of what the Ritz means to them as a friend group and everything. Um, and you go through the little sort of, I'll call them mini games, but whatever, the little snippets of sweeping the fire pit area and then moving the
Mm-hmm.
couch in and then getting to paint that door. For some reason, painting the door just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I don't know why. Like my friends and I weren't creative together. We didn't paint together. We didn't paint doors together. We didn't do hard labor together or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we did have a secret little hangout spot that was like kind of like the Ritz. It wasn't a shack in the woods, but I mean, hey, what do I care now? I don't live there anymore. Um, we used to climb on top of I can't remember if it was a Boston Pizza or an Applebee's.
Oh,
and anyways, there was one summer where me and my friends got really into climbing buildings.
Sure. Buildings.
And we found
trespassing.
Quite literally, yes. I told my sister once, and she was like, you could get in some serious trouble for that as trespassing. And I was like, fuck that. But yeah, we used to climb up this restaurant, and there were milk crates on the roof already, and we would throw some stuff in a backpack, and we would climb up there on a Friday night and hang out there for hours. And I think that's probably a big part of why I connected with that space so much. But when it came to that quiet moment of just painting the door and sort of making that space your own, for some reason, that just hit me. And yeah, like I wasn't weeping or anything like I was at the end. But, tears started flowing, and I was like, why does this mean so much to me? And I started kind of reflecting about, these friends that, yeah, I mean, honestly, the reason the end hit so hard is because I've never seen them since. Right. And so for some reason, that door just was like, this is sending me back. And then, it continues on. And I did appreciate that you do see your painted door in cutscenes later on. That's cool. Always a nice touch, right? That's like, hey, I equipped the armor and it shows up in cutscenes and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, those two moments for me, the emotions this game pulled out of me, I was like, I cannot not give this game a 10 after I had such a visceral reaction to everything that I just witnessed.
That's why I say it's like a 9 out of 10, like I love, like a 10 out of 10. Because it's like, I wanted more, but man, every single bit of it was a 10 out of 10. Maybe I do get this. I'm just going to stop giving scores. I'm too indecisive.
That's why I like the Rosebud Thorn so much, because it gives you a chance to talk about something you loved, about something you really enjoyed, but maybe want to see a little more of. And then if there is anything you didn't like, something you didn't like. So yeah.
Great system. I'm so glad we invented that.
I'm so glad. I've never heard of Blessing Adeoye Jr. and Janet Garcia.
Oh, I took it from summer camp. I don't know. I used to do that with my kiddos at summer camp. Yeah,
oh, okay.
I would ask them like, "What was your Rosebud Thorn of the day?" And we'd go in a circle and
nice
talk about it.
I heard Blessing and Janet do it once and was like, "Oh, I like that." So, anyways, I thought that's where you got it too. But
fellow knowers, maybe they worked at the same camp I did. Gulu original, as French Dip says.
Yeah, that's right. Put it on a shirt.
That's right. We took it.
We'll be contacting you.
Well, that brings us to the end of our mixtape review, impressions and all that, Rosebud Thorns and all that. Jordan gave it a 10 out of 10. I landed at a 9 out of 10. That I love, like a 10 out of 10. I still think everybody should play this game. I think even if you don't relate to the story completely, or you don't get tear-jerkered at the end, like, I still think it's such an incredible, tight piece of art that doesn't usually exist in many spaces, like, and definitely wouldn't exist in, 1995, whenever this game took place. Like, video games aren't at that level. Well, I don't know, maybe Super Mario got some tear jerkers out of people. Yeah, who up jerking their tears? Maybe Mario. But Mixtape, I think, as a product standing on its own, I feel like everybody should give it a try. If you are hesitant about playing it, definitely pick it up. They are a small team. And it's only like 3 hours long. So treat it like a really long movie. Bang it out in an evening like I did, or over 2 evenings like Jordan did. And then you will be a more rounded individual because of it. And you can sign off on that. And if you want to dispute that, don't contact us. But if you do want to contact us, you can subscribe to us here.
Segue.
You can subscribe to us here at Grow Up Level Up, whether you are listening on YouTube or on podcast services around the globe. Thank you to our live viewers on Twitch. We got Batgirl, the French Dip Design, Lucas L. Gator earlier, and a Blaster Goblin. Thank you for pulling through and joining us live. If you do want to catch us live, we are live sometimes 8 p.m. PST, PT over on twitch.tv/grow up level up. Either Tuesdays or Thursdays is when we usually go live. But if you want to know when, make sure you come into our Discord, because we ping everyone whenever we go live. So hop in over there. Or, you know what? Ring the notification bell on Twitch, and that will let you know when we go live as well. My name is Samson XB. My handle is my name is Samson. My handle is Samson XP. You can find me at Samson XP on all the socials or on Blue Sky at smsn.bluesky.social. Jordan, where can the good people find you?
The good people can find me all over the internet at Sir Dr. JM. That's at Sir DRJM, especially over on Instagram and twitch.tv/Sir Dr. JM.
That's right. That's right. And I'm just reading the chat here. You're saying Davy James wrote something about Mixtape that I didn't know about?
Davy James 22 has a Substack, which I can link you after once I pull it up. And you can subscribe to it to read a piece that he wrote about Mixtape, which is full of the feels. And I think that was actually the only piece of Mixtape media that I consumed after beating the game before this talk. I didn't want to be influenced by what other people are saying on the internet.
Of course.
So I read his piece, and other than that, I haven't watched the Kind of Funny review, which of course I often would do, because I wanted just to sort of have my own feelings,
of course,
such. So yeah,
very good. I'm sorry for missing that friendship design and Davey. I will definitely go check it out, and if you do, I'll also link it in the description below. Call it required reading.
Yes.
But thank you so much for the support, friendship, and thanks for putting me on that, Jordan. Well, Jordan, what are your wise words to end the show before we raid?
Ooh, before we raid. Okay, my wise words today shall be: I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Beautiful. And we'll cut it off there.
From The Office.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah.
I heard that quote before.
One of the final episodes of The Office. I'm sure other people have said it, but.
Okay. I heard it from camp, which
fair enough.
They should make a summer camp version of Mixtape. That'd be fun. We are going to raid. Thank you so much for joining, everybody in the chat. Oh, now say something crazy because we're going to cut it out.
Say the C slurs. Quick.
Chinese and Canadian.
No, that was never the C slur we were referring to.
There are worse C slurs.
I mean, I say the one you're referring to regularly, though.
Like, yeah. Canadian?
How do I? I'm trying to get you a link to Dave's Substack here.
Send it to me later. Well, we're gonna raid Verum Dex, but yeah, Cam, Bad Girl, Lucas, if you're still there, and Blaster Goblin. Thank you so much for coming in. This has been really special. So really appreciate it. And for Canadian. And yeah, we'll go live perhaps next week on a new topic. Haven't thought that far yet, but we'll get there. We're gonna raid into Verum Dex. Oh, I forgot it, like countdowns. And he's playing Final Fantasy IX.
Okay.
Have I played this one? I don't think I played this one, but it looks kind of familiar. All right. Raid it now. Talk to you later, gang.
Bye. Thank you all.